EA-0200, 2 nights before the Natuna event. A converted offshore supply vessel flying Panamanian colors steams lazy circles 180 nautical miles north-northwest of the Natuna Besar platform. Deck lights off, AIS dark. Below the waterline, divers and rebreathers weld the final brackets onto a device the size of a city bus. 8 tons of forged miraging steel wrapped around a layered sphere of octogen lithium-6 deuteride and a shell of porous tantalum foam. They call it Naga Pora Unit 001, but the welders just call it the egg. When they finish, they slap a sticker on the casing, a cartoon dragon giving the middle finger. Then they flood the moon pool and let it sink on its own. No wires, no countdown yet. Just a sleeper waiting for a phone call that will come from a satellite burner phone in a Jakarta warung 2 days later. That phone call is made by a 3-star admiral who hasn't slept in 4 days. He's been watching live feeds from the new Indonesian oceanographic research buoys ringing the entire 9-dash line. Each buoy looks like a harmless yellow weather station, but inside sits a quantum gravimeter sensitive enough to detect a submarine changing depth at 400 meters. For 6 months, they've been mapping every single Chinese militia hull, every survey ship, every disguised intelligence trawler. The database now holds 1,337 unique acoustic signatures, 312 hull numbers, and the GPS coordinates of 94 illegal fish aggregating devices planted directly on Indonesia's continental shelf. Tonight, the admiral opens the laptop, types a single line, "Waktunya memberi pelajaran," and hits send. Somewhere in the Sunda Strait, a relay station forwards the encrypted burst to a stealth drone orbiting at 70,000 feet. 37 seconds later, the egg wakes up, back to the Natuna night itself. KRI Naga, the delivery sub, isn't alone. She's the spear tip of a wolf pack nobody knows exists. 3 other modified submarines, KRI Trisula, Kakra, and Alugoro, parked in a perfect diamond formation 60 kilometers apart, each carrying 2 eggs, each with orders to fire only if the primary fails. Redundancy is an Indonesian religion now. They learned it the hard way in 2020 when a single Chinese Coast Guard ship rammed and sank an Indonesian fishing boat inside its own EEZ while the world yawned. Never again. The physics of what happens next deserve their own chapter because this isn't some Hollywood pressure wave. This is weaponized vacuum. When the Naga Pora implodes, the tantalum foam vaporizes first, creating a near-perfect spherical cavity 180 meters across in 0.8 milliseconds. Seawater rushes in at 8 kilometers. The inrushing walls collide at the center and rebound outward as a supercritical plasma jet moving at 3% the speed of light. That jet punches upward through 800 meters of water in 0.4 seconds, loses coherence, and becomes a focused pressure spike that looks on satellite SAR exactly like a rogue wave born from a passing typhoon that isn't actually there. The energy release is roughly 28 tons of TNT equivalent, but 99.7% of it is transferred directly into hydrodynamic shock with almost zero electromagnetic signature. No flash, no EMP, no fallout, no seismic signature above 3.4 Richter at 200 kilometers. Just a circle of ocean that suddenly decides to commit suicide and take everything on the surface with it. At Aero 312, the wave arrives. The first militia boat, hull 580101, is a 68-meter steel monster with reinforced bows designed to ram Vietnamese fishing boats. The wave lifts it vertically 28 meters in 1.8 seconds. The hull folds along frame 42 like wet cardboard. The second boat, 580102, tries to turn into the wave and lasts 0.9 seconds longer before the bridge is ripped clean off and hurled 400 meters sideways. By the time the wave has traveled 8 kilometers, the entire fleet, 83 vessels, 2,600 crew, has been reduced to a debris field the size of central Jakarta. Indonesian MH-60R helicopters flying nap of the earth with FLIR pods record every second in glorious 4K. One pilot zooms in on a single life jacket floating upright. Inside is a Chinese captain still clutching his satellite phone, mouth open in a scream that never made it out. Jakarta doesn't gloat publicly. They don't need to. The footage is cut into a 4-minute montage set to gamelan music and uploaded anonymously to every defense forum on the planet. Title: Tsunami Training Exercise Natuna 2025. By sunrise, it has 40 million views, and the Chinese embassy in Jakarta is burning the shredders trying to destroy classified cables. Beijing's first move is Fury. Carrier Shandong, Liaoning, and the new Fuji in all sorties simultaneously. 3 full carrier battle groups screaming south at 32 knots, the largest planned deployment since 1949. Satellite photos show every destroyer and frigate loading to the gills with YJ-21 hypersonics. The world holds its breath. Indonesia's second move is pure art. At exactly 1800 the same day, every television station in Indonesia interrupts programming with an emergency broadcast. Not the president, not the defense minister, just a black screen and white text in Bahasa and English. Kami sedang melakukan latihan mitigasi bencana alam di Laut Natuna. Harap menjauh dari area berikut untuk 72 jam ke depan. Coordinates attached form a perfect circle 400 km in diameter centered on the Shandong group's projected position at midnight. The Pentagon reads that and immediately orders every ship in the South China Sea to 400-mile standoff. Australia recalls its entire Collins-class fleet to Darwin. Japan quietly moves its helicopter carriers into the Philippine Sea. Singapore closes the strait to all non-essential traffic for safety reasons. Even the Russians pull their kilo boats out of Cam Bay. Midnight comes. Shandong is steaming in the exact center of the circle, air wing on deck, radars blazing. Nothing happens for 4 full minutes. The plan admiral starts to relax. Then the sea simply drops away. Not a wave this time. The entire ocean surface inside a 40-kilometer radius sinks 42 meters in 11 seconds, as if a plug the size of Manhattan has been pulled. Shandong, 85,000 tons, falls with it. Every destroyer, every frigate, every oiler drops into the hole like toys in a bathtub. For 9 seconds, there is no horizon. Then the walls rush back. A transient peak 180 meters high forms directly under the carrier's bow, lifts the entire ship vertically and slams it back down stern first. The flight deck accordions, the island superstructure shears off and cartwheels into the sea. When the water settles, Shandong is floating upside down, 3 propellers still turning lazily in the air like a dying insect. No explosion, no missiles, just physics. The world loses satellite coverage for exactly 37 minutes, later attributed to solar flare interference. When pictures return, the entire Chinese battle group is gone. A few life rafts, some burning fuel, and one upside-down 85,000-ton testament to what happens when you bring steel to a fight with the ocean itself. Jakarta never claims responsibility. They don't need to. The next morning, the Indonesian Ministry of Marine Affairs issues a calm press release. We warned everyone about dangerous seismic activity, tragic accident. Our thoughts are with the families. The Naga Pora program is now the worst-kept secret on Earth. Leaked documents show 68 devices already deployed in silos under tsunami early warning buoys, stretching from the Malacca Strait to the Torres Strait. Each buoy is a 120-meter hardened shaft with 4 reloads and its own nuclear isotope power source good for 25 years. Trigger authority sits with 3 people, the president, the TNI commander, and a civilian scientist who hasn't been seen in public since 2023. Rumor says he lives in a bunker under Borobudur with the only physical launch key. The strategic fallout is biblical. Vietnam quietly signs a defense pact that includes joint Naga Pora basing rights in the Spratlys. The Philippines offers Subic Bay rent-free for 99 years if Manila gets 2 devices for reef protection. Malaysia abandons its South China Sea claims entirely and asks very politely for a demonstration near James Shoal just to keep the fishermen safe. India reportedly sends a submarine to Jakarta with a single request: teach us. Even the United States, master of carrier battle groups, suddenly discovers a deep and abiding interest in joint maritime domain awareness with the Indonesian Navy. China. China goes quiet. Not defeated, never say that, but calculating. Because the next time a militia fleet crosses the line, there won't be a warning. There will just be a circle on a chart, a countdown nobody hears, and then the sea itself will swallow the evidence. And somewhere tonight, 800 meters beneath a calm patch of water that looks exactly like every other patch of water, another egg is sinking toward the bottom, patient as geology. The dragon has learned a new trick. It doesn't roar anymore. It just opens its mouth and the ocean disappears. Sleep well, world. The new king of the Indo-Pacific doesn't wear a uniform. It wears the sea like a second skin,